Hello students, welcome back to Savan Science Academy in a new lecture of 11th Biology chapter Kingdom Plantae. So today our topic will be the remaining two types of algae, that is the Phaeophyceae and the Rhodophyceae. In the last lecture we finished with Chlorophyceae, so here we go with the last two ones. So Phaeophyceae, as we all know, it is known as brown algae, so simply because they look brown. Okay, so first thing is the habitat. Now these are mostly marine, means they are also found in fresh water also. Some are also found in brackish water. As we all know what is brackish water, तो जहाँ पे river and ocean meet करते हैं, so there is a combination of what you can say salty water, that is ocean water, with the river water, fresh water. So that in that area where the junction, where the river meets the ocean, the salinity varies, and even that also affects some animals. So that's also a tough habitat to live in, first of all. So there also you'll find few of them. So fresh water means river, lakes, ponds, so you'll find few of them over there. Majority to they are marine. Okay, then let's look at the body. So when we see the body of these, some are simple branched, some are filamentous, some are profusely branched, like kelps, and they can grow up to 100 meters also. So they can continuously grow in water, ocean waters, so they can form large branch profuse structures known as kelps. Then the pigment which they carry, so the pigment which they carry is Chlorophyceae, carotenoids, xanthophyll, and सबसे main fucoxanthin, which imparts the color. Okay, so these pigments can give color up to from olive green to somewhere shade of brown. So the darkness, or you can say the lightness, may vary depending on the amount of pigments present in the various brown algae. So chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C. In green algae we saw it had chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So here it also has carotenoids, xanthophylls, and also fucoxanthin. So it shows what you can say various brown algae shows different colors, that is right, ranging from olive green to shade of brown. So that's how they look, and the pigments are responsible for the given color. Next, food which they store. So obviously they are photosynthetic, but they convert their food into laminarian or mannitol. So they store it in the form of laminarian, and it is mannitol or mannitol. Cell wall. Now cell wall of these algae, generally obviously when we say plant, it is cellulose, but it is covered with a gelatinous covering of algin. It is covered with a gelatinous covering with algin, and if you see the cells of these plants, generally it has a central vacuole with all the plastids. So it will have those plastids which has all these pigments, but it has a centrally placed vacuole. Okay, so that's some feature that you find in the cells of brown algae. So that is one of the thing. Plant body, how it looks. So if you see the fucus plant, so generally what we say again, they have root like, they have stem like, and they have leaf like structures. So if you see how it looks, so the root like structure is known as the holdfast. It looks like claws, it looks like the branches of roots. So this is the holdfast. This is the stipe. Okay, this is the stipe, which is the stem like structure, and this has a broad end, or it is a broad structure attached to it. So these have some empty pockets. These are what you can say, which through and through. So these are just a thallus structure. So this is known as frond. So this is known as frond. The inner stem like structure is known as stipe. So the leaf like structure which you see over here is the frond. Green hai, and obviously it will have other pigments also, so photosynthesis karega. And holdfast is that root like structure. So this is the holdfast, stipe, and frond. So it looks somewhat like this. So this is again also come under thallus body, because it doesn't have true roots and stems and leaves. So that is one more thing regarding the brown algae. So brown algae also सबको समझा है, उनके body features, habitat, ये सब हमने किया है. Now let's look about the reproductive aspect. Now vegetatively again they can multiply by fragmentation. So if you make pieces of this, every piece can regenerate back to entire algae. Asexual method is by biflagellated zoospores. Obviously zoospores means what you can say, which are motile, simple. And but the flagellas are unequal. They have only two flagellas. नाम में दिख रहा है two biflagellate. So every zoospore has only two flagellas, but they are unequal. They are present laterally. That also you can add to this. ठीक है, lateral and unequal flagellas होते हैं. ठीक है, so these are biflagellated zoospores which will germinate to form this algae. And sexual reproduction also is shown by the three modes that we have already studied in the previous lectures: isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Predominantly oogamous. We find many of the brown algae showing oogamous, but all the three modes, मतलब types of gametes. Isogamous means both gametes are of same size and both are motile, or both the gametes are of same size and both are non-motile. Anisogamous, one is larger, other is smaller, one is motile, other is non-motile. So that will be the case, anisogamous. And oogamous, strictly the female gamete is large, non-motile, male gamete is small but motile, and the fertilization will occur in the female sex organ, that is the oogonium. ठीक है, so that is the feature of oogamous types of sexual reproduction. Gametes जो बनते हैं, so they are pear shaped, so you can remember this. That is one of the feature of Phaeophyceae. And last but not the least are the example. So ectocarpus, which you can see over there, ectocarpus, then dichota, then sargassum, fucus, and laminaria. So these are few examples of brown algae. So hope so you got this. So remember the main things: the plant body, which you can write it over here also, then about how they are present, branched or not, then the pigments, the food stored, and the cell wall composition. So these are the main points which are asked for entrances. Examples to must learn here, because they give you the features and they give you examples below, and they ask you to find which the following statements belongs to which example. Now obviously one will be of Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. So it is like instead of giving the names of the algae, they give you the examples. So examples learning is must. ठीक है, so ये थोड़ा रट्टा मारना पड़ेगा. So you have to do this. ठीक है, so hope so सबको brown algae is quite clear. Next is Rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae means red algae. Again mostly marine. Rarely these are freshwater, but mostly these are marine. And both they also flourish well in warm water areas. ठीक है, तो oceans के अंदर भी volcanic eruptions होते रहते हैं, तो वहां पे उस गर्म पानी की जगह पे भी तुम्हें रेड algae ज्यादा मिलते हैं, because they can use the minerals of from which come from the earth. ठीक है, for the development. Pigments क्या है? So इसमें chlorophyll A, D and phycoerythrins, and that imparts the red color. So the phycoerythrin imparts the red color to this algae, and hence they are known as red algae. Basically majority of them are multicellular. They have a thallus body, means again cannot be differentiated into root, stems and leaves. So they have some frond like structures, they show some branches, but they are not true stems, roots and branches. Food which they produce obviously by photosynthesis is stored in the form of Floridian starch. So that is the stored what you can say, the material in which they store the food. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. We all know what is fragmentation. Now they have non-motile spores, जिसको हम अप्लानोस्पोर्स भी बोलते हैं. प्लानो मीन्स फ्लैजिलेटेड और मोटाइल, तो अप्लानो बोला है तो मतलब नॉन मोटाइल. सो दे कैन समटाइम गिव यू दैट वर्ड्स टू. ठीक है, सो asexual reproduction is due to those spores. Sexual is also due to non-motile gametes. Basically यहाँ पे oogamous type मिलेगा with complex post-fertilization development. मतलब जब zygote बन जाएगा, so zygote getting converted to the actual plant goes under various processes, developmental stages, and then the actual sporophyte, means the plant body, is formed. So that is also a little bit complicated thing. So वही उन्होंने वहाँ पे दिया है. इसके दो एग्जाम्पल है, that is Gracilaria and Gillidium. ठीक है, Gracilaria and Gillidium, these are the two. And इन दोनों से related एक सबसे common MCQ आता है कि from this we derive agar-agar gel. So they release the material which they release or which is obtained from the this algae is agar-agar, which is generally used as a nutrient medium for bacterial culture and many microbial cultures. ठीक है, so remember this is an important MCQ regarding this one. So the gel, agar-agar gel is obtained from these algae. ठीक है, so to sum it up, ठीक है, so these are brown algae, these are red algae. So now we'll see a quick distinguishing like between the three. ठीक है, and we'll end with this algae part, and from the next lecture we'll start with the bryophytes. ठीक है, so to sum it up, हम इसके distinguishing points देख लेते हैं फटाफट क्या है. So we'll just go through it. So एक short revision of the three types of algae that we just saw in these two lectures. So to see this, first we'll divide this as Chlorophyceae, then Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. ठीक है, Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. So these are the three types of algae that we find. So first is the common name that we need to know, and we all know that we know it. So common name wise सबको पता है, these are known as green algae simply because they show dominance of chlorophyll pigment. These are known as brown algae because they show fucoxanthin, which imparts the color. Apart from that, carotenoid, xanthophyll भी होते हैं, chlorophylls भी होते ही है. And red algae में basically because of phycoerythrin. So next point हम वही ले सकते हैं कि which pigments they carry. ठीक है, generally the pigments carried by the Chlorophyceae members is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Over here it is chlorophyll A and C with carotenoids, xanthophyll and fucoxanthin. ठीक है, xanthophyll and fucoxanthin as the main photosynthetic pigments that you will find in the brown algae. And the last one you will find is chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D and phycoerythrin. ठीक है, then we'll immediately see the cell wall composition. Now cell wall, if you see, generally this is obviously made up of cellulose तो होगा ही. यहाँ पे भी in brown algae we just saw it is cellulose plus algin, and here we will also find cellulose. So cellulose and pectin भी हमने देखा था. तो generally this is the chemical composition. The food storage की अगर हम बात करें तो मैंने बताया था यहाँ पे हम लोग स्टार्च ही फॉर्म में स्टोर होता है इन केस ऑफ क्लोरोफाइसी. यहाँ पे लैमिनेरियन एंड दूसरा है, और या तो मैनिटॉल फॉर्म में ये जनरली स्टोर होता है, जबकि यहाँ पे फ्लोरिडिन स्टार्च फॉर्मेट में द फूड इज स्टोर्ड. सो इट इज सिमिलर टू amylopectin, glycogen जो हम बोलते हैं. So it is almost similar to that. Last but not the least, about the spores and the flagella. ठीक है, spores, flagella on spores, the number and the arrangement of flagella on spores. So generally in Chlorophyceae they are 2 to 8 in number. They are apically located and all are equal length flagellas. यहाँ पे 2 flagellas होते हैं, unequal length के होते हैं. हमने just देखा biflagellated zoospores in this, and they are generally lateral in position, and here they are absent. So flagella होते ही नहीं, non-motile spores बनाते हैं. and ये habitat तो सबका ही aquatic है. ये फ्रेश वाटर में भी मिलते हैं अच्छे अमाउंट में, एंड मराइन में भी, ब्रेकिश वाटर में कम. ये लोग भी मराइन में ज्यादा, फ्रेश वाटर में. यहाँ पे फ्रेश वाटर में ये लोग रेयर है, बट मराइन एंड ब्रेकिश वाटर में अच्छे से मिल जाएंगे. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द डिस्टिंग्विशिंग पॉइंट्स, द मेन पॉइंट्स यू नीड टू लर्न. एग्जांपल्स भी हमने जस्ट देखे इसका. Chlamydomonas, Cara, then Spirogyra, Urothryx and Volvox. इसका भी हमने जस्ट देखा. एक्टोकार्पस जो हमने पढ़ा, सार्गैज्म, फ्यूकस, लैमिनेरिया, एंड इसका जो अभी हमने पढ़ा दैट इज गिलिडियम एंड ग्रेसिलियम. ठीक है, ग्रेसिलेरिया. सो ये इसके एग्जांपल्स मस्ट है, वो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी वांट टू स्टडी ओवर हियर. सो अलगे, पूरा अलगे क्लियर है. You can even write a short note on this if asked in your exams, college exams. But generally ऐसे कोई क्वेश्चंस तुम्हें मिलेंगे. So guys, ये अच्छे से दिमाग में फिट बैठा है. मिलते हैं अगले लेक्चर में इन ब्रायोफाइट्स. Till then, bye bye, take care.